Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. Myself Vaibhav. In today's session of automated trading, we will be continuing with the development using the indicators of AC2, that is acceleration, decelerator, oscillator, along with the Bollinger band. And to do the optimization in the final leg, we will also add the min-max to give us the time required to allow the consolidation to happen, and then the trade should be executed. Now, coming to the technicalities, I hope you are now well familiar with the AC2 and then the Bollinger Band I had explained in the earlier session. Today we will be using the min-max as well, the lowest and the highest value over a specified period. Before we get started, here there is a standard disclaimer, and you should keep in mind that whatever developments which we are going to do during the session are only for tutorial purpose, and no advice, no trade advice, or no advice for any particular setup is being made, and also no claim is being made regarding the profitability or otherwise of the algorithm which we will be developing here. And if you do want to use any of the systems developed, I would recommend that you do extensive trial runs and then sufficient amount of mock runs on the demo account as well to get a better idea of the efficiency of the algorithm. So let's get started. Let's do a brief recap of the underlying idea. So here we are looking for any trade, and which will satisfy the first criteria is that Bollinger Band. The candle close should be above this middle band for a buy trade, and the candle close should be below the middle band for a sell trade. Along with that, when we are looking for a buy trade, we want to make sure that the trade happens when the momentum shifts from bearish to bullish, and only during the initial hour and not later on. Suppose if the trend continues in the same direction, the algorithm won't be looking for additional trades while it is continuing. And to further optimize the setup, we had added the additional layer of the 4 hourly chart, where we brought in the condition that even on the 4 hourly chart, 4 hourly time frame, the candle close should be above the middle band, that is this 20 EMA for a buy trade, and below the middle band for a sell trade. So to optimize the entry and exit points, we have brought in one condition also, that if the last candle close is far away from the middle band, suppose if the candle has closed more than 10 pips away from this middle band, then we will be subtracting the 10 pips and then placing a pending order, and I think that will bring our entry point closer to the middle band, and that has been the idea. Now let's see how far we have come in our T4X development. So this is the standard instrument subscription and the Bollinger band using the hourly setup, and then 4 hourly setup. Here the shift is 1, that is the last 4 hourly time frame, last 4 hourly candle, and then acceleration, decelerator, oscillator for determining the trend change on a half an hourly time frame. Then we have taken this gate historical candle for making sure that the candle close is in the desired territory. Then we have done this calculation. The PD is the difference 10 pips we have defined, and here this variable has been multiplied by the default instrument pip size to make it as the execution difference of 10 pips. And here we are to trying to calculate the difference between the last tick and the middle band. Whenever the difference will be more than 10 pips, the order will be executed as per the pending condition, pending order. Otherwise it will be simply be executed on at market prices, and this is the last tick bid minus the execution difference, that is 10 pips we will be subtracting for the buy value, and this is the order validity condition of 2 hours. So using that, we have developed this buy side. So far so good. Now we will add one more condition and our sell side will be complete. I think we have to add we will need to do calculation for the difference between the middle band and the last tick if the tick is lower than the middle band. So for a sell trade, now here when the last candle close will be below the middle band, our algorithm will be looking for sell trades only, and in such a scenario we will need to subtract the last candle close price from the middle band, and then if the difference is more than 10 pips, we will look for a pending open. If the difference is less than 10 pips, then the order will be executed at the market prices. So let's add this condition. For that, we will need to bring in one calculation expression block to do the subtraction, and then we will also bring in the min max condition. So let us bring this indicator and the components. We want a mathematical component, and this is the calculation expression. So let's bring it here, and we will need to subtract the last take price, the last candle price, that is the candle close of 17, or we can even use the last tick price as well, and here we will take the middle band of the hourly candle. So hourly is this one, so we are going to take this middle band of 17. Okay, and now we can make it both ways. Even if we subtract the last candle close, that will also do, or even if we subtract the last tick price, that will also work. So let's go for a tick price so that it will be latest, and here we take tick ask, and then we will do the subtraction. I think it's this is the bid value, so we will take tick bid rather than tick ask. So okay, and we will do the subtraction. So here we will subtract the A2 from A1. So here we write A1 minus A2, and this will be sell difference ST, and now let us add the if condition, logical, and we will also need the pending open. So here is the pending open by, if we will make it sell limit. Okay, and now what we need, we will need the sell difference to be more than the execution difference. In such a scenario, our algorithm will look for a pending open instead of looking for a market open, and while placing the order, 10 pips will be subtracted, 10 pips will be added to the current price, while buy, the 10 pips will be subtracted. While selling, the order will be placed 10 pips higher from the current price. So I think we will also need to do the calculation for AC block. So here, let's bring in another calculation expression, mathematical, and this is it. So what we do, we take the last tick price. This time we will take tick ask. Tick ask, tick bid, only the difference is spread. And to the last tick ask, we will add the execution difference of 10 pips. So this time we will do sum addition. A1 plus last tick ask plus A2 execution difference. Okay. And we also have to add min max condition, but for the time being we will connect this to make sure that flow is there. Oh. Okay. And now let's go here. We will need to add the price and the order validity time as well. So let's take this and this is the SC sale entry, and this will be our price. Default instrument Euro USD, trade amount we will keep it at 0.1 million. The slippage will be of 2 pips. The stop loss, we have been using the stop loss of 15 pips, whereas our target will be of 20 pips. And now we add the order validity time. The order validity time is OVT, and it has been defined at 2 hours. So most of our conditions using the AC2 and the Bollinger bands have been fulfilled. So this is also a setup which is complete in its own, but then I will explain you on the chart why we will need to add min max conditions as well, just to make it a bit better. Now we bring in this block, and here suppose if the SD is first we will make sure that it is lower. Okay, we will connect as it is. It should be lower, candle close should be lower than the middle band. And suppose the sell difference is less than the execution difference, that is the difference between last tick price and the middle band is less than 10 pips, then the order will be executed at market, and this is the open at market condition. And if the difference is more, then the order will be placed 10 pips higher than the current price, and that's why we have brought in the this pending open order, just to make sure if there is significant amount of deviation. In such a scenario, we want our order to be delayed and placed at a price possibly closer to the middle band. So this is the setup which is complete now. Let's save it. But before we do the test run, we will add one more condition. Here on the hourly chart, I will use the 4 hourly setup mode. So this time around, the Euro USD has been in a trending mode, and this up move has been pretty sharp. But this is once in a while situation, and usually the things don't work like in a similar way. Last week we have done the test run for our initial setup also, and last week was pretty profitable. But going back, even if you were to look on this prior slide, here you will notice that what happens when a new low is made for next almost like couple of hours. You can see that 3-4 bars of the 4 hours, nothing much happens. The price remains in a range bound manner, and then the fresh selling begins. And this is more or less this is the standard, you can say, price action. There is slide and then consolidation. The slide takes a pause, and then again after some consolidation the slide begins, and the price moves lower. So this is you can observe more often than not that is the situation. And what we can do, we can just bring in some additional condition where we try to delay the order execution by say 12 hours. We can try any hours which we need. So for the day we will be looking at a condition where no order will be placed within the first 12 hours after the new low has been made, if the momentum is bearish, of course, and if the momentum is bullish after a new high is being made, no fresh order will be placed in next 12 hours. You can use any time frame. You can keep it for 12 hours, you can keep it for 5 hours, you can keep it for 24 hours. It's always up to you. Here we will be using the 12-hour time frame, and how we can achieve it, we can simply use the min max condition. So suppose I will try to explain to you. See here, if the new high has been made here, then for next 12 hours no order will be placed. So the time is 9 GMT, and if we add 12 hours it will be 21 GMT. So only here, when the price comes back again and no new low, no new high has been made, now here you can notice that our requirement that the candle close should be above the middle band is also being fulfilled, and the candle close is also below the upper band. So a new order can also be placed, and since I think the difference is more than 10 pips, so in such a scenario the pending order will be placed after subtracting 10 pips from the current price, and that order will be valid for next 2 hours. And I think that order, even if was going to be placed, it won't be executed, but still that's how our algorithm will function. Let me add the min max condition so that you will be pretty clear about the intentions. So let's minimize this, and let's bring in the additional indicator, and here we will add a maxima and the minima. Okay, and let me check. We want the price to be the lowest price, low price. The time frame is of 30 hours. Okay, and this is the maxima of high value. Edit, and this is the high price and the 30 hours. Okay, so here we will need to put in a condition explicitly stating that the current maxima should be equal or less than the maxima 12 hours back. That is, we will be using shift 12, and it will have the same effect. If the maxima is the same or lower, then that will mean that no new high has been made in last 12 hours. And similarly, for a sell trade, we will be explicitly stating that after a new low has been made, the minima should be equal to the last uh, the time 12 hours back, and if it is, then only the order will be placed. So here after the new low has been made, here you can notice that after a couple of hours, 4 or 5 hours, I think 5 or 6 hours, uh, again the candle has closed below this middle band and also above the upper band. But since this minima is not going to be equal to the minima 12 hours back, no trade will be placed. And as you can see that after a fresh low or fresh high has been made, the underlying instrument tends to remain in consolidation phase, and we don't want too many trades to be executed during this phase, and that's why we have brought in this condition. So let's add this on our visual T4X setup. Also, we will need to use 4 min-max blocks. So we will be using the indicator, mathematical, and the min-max. We will need 2 min-max block for defining maxima and 2 min-max blocks for defining minima. We will be using the bid low for minima and ask of the high price for the maxima, and this is the maxima 58, 59 and 57. We will arrange it as this is 56, so we will place the 56 here, followed by 57, to be followed by 58. So it will be a bit easier for us to remember as well. Now and then we will connect this to the multiple action, where two flows will go out, one in the buy direction and one in the sell direction. And we will need to hurry up as the time is also running fast. Bid, we will go for the low price, here also low price, here the ask and the high price, here also the ask and high price to define the maxima. And now let us bring in the if blocks. We will need 2 if blocks, trading, logical if blocks. Okay, and we also need to define the shift. The shift is 0. Here the time frame needs to be defined as well for 1 hour. 1 hour. do the shift 12, here shift 12 again, and we will keep the time frame at 30, time period at 30 only. So now let's do the if condition. So what we need the current minima. This is the current minima should be equal to or less than the minima 12 hours back for the sell trade, and for the buy trade we need the maxima. So this is the current maxima should 0, means current maxima should be equal to or less than the maxima 12 hours back. So now we can, now let's connect these blocks, maxima on the buy side and minima on the sell side. We will add this condition just prior to the execution condition so that we have a common flow, and here the candle close needs to be less than the middle band. So here we will connect as it is, and then the minima should be equal or greater. That means no new low has been made in last 12 hours, and the consolidation is ongoing for last 12 hours. So similarly here also for the buy trade we want to make sure no new high has been made in last 12 hours. So we do this candle close should be greater than the middle band, and then the maxima should be equal, the current maxima and the last the 12 hours back or less. That will mean no new maxima has been made. Now this is the final setup. We are all ready to do the test, but I think in the considering the fact that we have brought in extensive conditions, so I think the test run might be a bit slower. So maybe we will do only one day's test run, and then when you will develop it on your own, I would recommend you do the test run for extensive period of time. So let's save the file as Feb 28. Tomorrow we will begin on a fresh note. So tomorrow we will be working on a different setup. Now let's export this file in Java format to our demo account, demo platform, and this is the Windows tech and algorithms 2020 March 20, and here we are. Oops, we have one more file here with the same name, and I think let's change this name. We will save this file as 4th of March. Okay, only with alphanumeric letters. Okay. Oh. M 4th. I think this should do. Okay, our file has been saved. Now let's again export it in Java format. And here we are almost done. M4 is our today's file. Okay, now let's go to our platform and import it here. And again we will need to go to the same folder and locate the same file and then compile it. Algorithm 2020 and March 20, and here it is. This is the M4 and open it. So here is the code and let us see how long it is. The code is of around 1098 lines. So now it has got quite enlarged and we will need to compile it first before we can do any testing. And on the chart we will see the situations where I think it will be better if we try to do the test run. So here is the compilation successful message. That means our algorithm has been successfully compiled. And let's take a look on the chart also, and we will do the test run for one day only. So I think we will try to do test run probably on let's do it on the last week on 24th. I think 24th should be good enough. Let us try to do the test run on 24th, how it will perform. Here we are, because we are doing the test run only for a day because of the time constraint, and but for your own safety I would suggest that you do the test run for many months and even years. Account, we will keep it as it is. The instrument is same. Instead of prior week we will do it for only one day on the 24th to the 25th of February. Here it is. Oh, I think it is now becoming for 2 days. Let's make it one. So it is now one day. Let's roll now. Ready to roll? Yes. 20 pips. This is 0.1 million. This is slippage is of 2 pips. Stop loss is of 15 pips, and the default period 10 minutes. Okay, done. Let us see how things are going to show up in this test run. We'll add the equity level. So far, no trades have been executed first few hours of the day. Okay, this is the trade, and one trade has closed in profit. Now let us see how it performs during the remaining part of the day. No further trade is being made. Okay, only one trade was placed and that ended in profit. So this is the summary of the report. So our algorithm is working as per the desired conditions we have defined so far, and to get a better idea of how it will perform on the longer time frame, as I said, you should do the test run for extensive amount of time. So that's it from my side for today's trading session, and I hope you have been able to understand and grasp the setup which we have developed in today's webinar session. We will be back again tomorrow for a fresh setup with something new to work with. See you tomorrow then. Goodbye.